Hello and welcome to Nick's Allotment Diary.
The one thing about the warm and wet weather we've had is although it brings on all the plants on the allotment, unfortunately it definitely brings on all the weeds too. There are weeds growing everywhere. So I'm going to do my best to do a bit of weeding today as well as some cropping. Sweet corn is doing really well. Cobs are developing, and if you look at this is the silks at the end of the cobs. They are the female part of the flower, and they receive the pollen, which I don't know whether you can see the little anthers that are produced at the end of the male flowers on the top of the sweet corn plant, and that pollen wind pollinates the silks to produce the cobs, the kernels within your sweet corn. To know when it's ready, these female silks will go a darker brown and the cob will start to swell. Onions are ready for harvest now. Excuse the weeds that are in this bed. They've flopped over and the foliage has started to die back. So these are definitely ready for lifting and just need to then be dried out and stored for the winter. This bed will be weeded and then it will allow the two pumpkin plants that I planted in the corner, one here and one over here, to develop and spread across this bed. The radishes that I planted, they're ready for harvest now. Decent size radish. That should be nice in a salad. And they've grown relatively quickly in just a few weeks. The calendula are doing really well. Loads of flowers on the calendula. And loads of seed heads. So anybody who's asked me for seed, please remember to send me a personal message with your address and I will endeavour to send them out to you in the next few weeks. Sunflowers. Giant Sunflower Challenge. This one is the sunflower. It's still in flower, just starting to go over now. Probably about 4 feet tall, maybe. Smaller one here. My tallest sunflower has now bent over. Here we go, you can see the seed head. I didn't measure it before it bent over, so I don't know how best to measure it. I'll probably have to measure it round the stem, from the base of the stem round the top here and to the back of the head, to give me the approximate size it would have been before it flopped over. It's got a massive head, and if you remember in the competition there's two categories. There's the tallest sunflower and the sunflower with the largest head. I definitely think I won't be in the running for the tallest, because I've seen a few YouTubers now that have got sunflowers 10 feet tall. This is never going to be 10 feet tall, but it has got a decent sized head on it. The fruit cage is doing well. Definitely needs weeding though. Lots of weeds have grown in all this warm, wet weather we've had over the last few weeks. The blueberries are still doing very well. I'm going to harvest some of those today. In fact, I'll probably harvest the rest of the crop. The ever-bearing strawberries have done well. I'll just show you an example of one. Producing, they're not the normal shaped fruits, they're quite flat, but they are very tasty, and they carry on producing for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm hoping that this plant will still be producing strawberries right into September. Black currants have finished now. Most of those have been harvested, as have the red currants and the gooseberries. So the fruit cage definitely needs tidying up. You can see the bindweed, which is prevalent on my plot, is starting to grow up the sides of the fruit cage. Definitely need to do a bit of weeding and make it look a bit tidier. Some of the peppers need staking. They've really flopped over. Some chilies here. That was the variety called Pixie, I think. The yellow peppers producing quite a lot of large fruit. Again, the plant has started to break because of the weight of the peppers, so I definitely need to stake the plant. This one, the sweet bonita, lots of nice yellow peppers growing on that one. Very pleased with the peppers. This is the Aldi pointed pepper. Now I was thinking that they're supposed to be red, but the colour they look to be developing is a sort of a purpley colour. Unless they go that colour first and then turn red, I'm not sure. We shall see. Planted a few broccoli plants ready to go out in the beds when the potatoes come out. Tomatoes are doing really well, although they're not ripening up, and I think the problem might be that I've got too many leaves on the plants. So what I'm going to do today is strip back some of the leaves to allow the light to get to the tomatoes, and hopefully they should then start to ripen. These are here the black cherry tomatoes. They're starting to colour up and go a little purple colour. I also need to stop the tops of the tomatoes now, because as you can see they've reached the top of the greenhouse and are producing loads and loads of little side shoots that will probably never turn into tomatoes, and they'll never ripen and become tomatoes. So I do need to do a little bit of work to see if I can get a decent crop. Cucumbers have done well. Here's an example of a Market More cucumber. Nice size, ready for harvest. And there are quite a few others developing on the plant. Talking of cucumbers, the Crystal Lemon cucumber's doing well. Strange looking fruit. There are several on the plant and they do seem to have done quite well. Don't know what they taste like, but I'll let you know once we've given them a try. Another pepper there. Now this one is definitely looking sort of a reddish colour, a reddish tinge. This is a variety called Marconi, and it does seem to produce relatively small pointed red peppers, sweet peppers. Aubergine or eggplant, got loads of flowers on it. Still haven't noticed any fruit. Possibly this one is going to be a fruit. It feels sort of firmish. We'll only have to see if it produces an aubergine. I've never grown them before, don't know what they'll be like, this particular variety, but looking forward to seeing if I can get a few fruit off this plant. Peas are doing really well. Loads of pods ready now, so try and crop some of those today. Producing plenty of pods. Another one there. So hopefully should get a decent crop of peas. Lettuce have done really well. To be honest, I need to harvest these soon. This one towards the end looks as if it's going to seed. So another job for today is to harvest some of the lettuce. Apples are doing well. Starting to ripen now. Bearing a decent crop. Look forward to trying some of my own apples later in the year. Any idea what these birds are? Look to be some sort of tit. There's one just growing in the trees here. And get a close up. There's quite a lot of them. I think they're eating the aphids off the plum tree. There we go, you can probably see that one. Today's harvest. Sweet peppers, Crystal Lemon cucumbers, Market More cucumbers, potatoes, more potatoes, red onions, shallots,
white onions, blueberries and strawberries, lettuce, green beans, courgettes, radishes, and underneath some peas. I'm very pleased with today's harvest.
Thanks very much for joining me at Nick's Allotment. I'll see you again next time.